What's up, fight fans, and welcome back to another Vegas Odds recap show. I am your host, Garrett Kerman. With me, as always, is my man, Joe Danger himself, Jesse Hobson. What's up, man? How's it going?
Just still counting my money from this weekend. I know you're down on yourself, but profit is profit, my friend. And, you gotta start getting good at like betting live like your boy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's this definitely was a good live opportunity fights because a lot of these fights could have gone either way. And being able to just kind of hang in there and wait a little bit and you kind of got some pretty good lines down the road, especially on Valentina Shevchenko like you did and Yuri Prohashka. But all in all, pretty good card as far as it pretty much it exceeded my expectations, put it that way, because my expectations were pretty much like in the dirt. I expected this to absolutely flop, be one of the worst pay-per-views ever, and actually did pretty damn well. And let's kind of like talk about it. Let's start at the top. Let's start at the main event. Okay. Yuri Prohashka, Glover Teixeira, great fight. Absolutely back and forth. These guys were throwing haymakers. They were landing on each other. There was takedowns. There were scrambles. There was ground and pound. Like, if you want to show, a new fan MMA, that could be a good fight to show him a little bit of everything. Show the violence, the striking, the grappling, and everything in between. What'd you think of the main event there?
It's funny you said that, showing a new fan this fight, because like there's this meme floating around. It's like when I watch MMA by myself and it's like this badass knockdown or badass, like anything that's like really, really cool, like, we all fall in love with. And then like MMA when I show my friends, and it was like there was particular sequences in this fight. It was like no secret either. Like they were like full, like going in, which I mean, more power to them. I mean, if they're going to get the victory, sometimes you got to dig deep, literally. And this fight was exceptional. As Garrett mentioned at the top, we were already kind of not necessarily all in, but we had stake in Yuri winning this fight. And Glover, man, like who would have thought that we would get this type of performance, from him, in this year. I mean, obviously a lot of the diehards, did, but I thought it was exceptional performance for both. I would argue that both of their stocks raised. Yuri, exceptional, never gave up. Obviously, he got the victory in the 5th round, but I was lucky enough to get him plus money, as the fight went on. I assumed he'd eventually find a finish. I did not expect him to sub, and I also did not expect it in the last 30 seconds. Glover made it was dude, just this is why we watch, and this is why we bet. It was an amazing opportunity, but ultimately what the fight came down to was Glover's mistakes. Glover made a lot of mistakes. There was moments where he could have ended the fight, or he could have, paced himself a little bit better around 5 and ultimately won by decision. He was winning on the cards going into the 4th, and then obviously he was winning the 5th. So yeah, amazing fight. And again, that's why we watch these fights.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was just like I said, it was back and forth to the very end. Glover was winning that fight. He was seconds away from winning and made a really bad mistake, jumping guillotine when you're already gassed. But then that could be kind of more of the issue that I felt like he was the most tired he's ever been in a fight. I feel like Yuri pushed him to the brink of exhaustion, and he just made some mental lapses because of it. You normally don't ever see Glover, who's got insane fight IQ, especially when it comes to the grappling, to make such, careless mistakes against a guy that's really not known for his grappling. And then to get tapped, that was full on exhaustion at that point. Yeah. I feel like that was really the deciding factor. Yuri was just able to push a little bit harder, and ultimately it was Glover's downfall. But I mean, the guy is still at the top of the game. He could arguably anybody in the 205-pound division. So I could say maybe one more win against somebody in the top 5, get his ass right back in there, because the fight was that close.
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of a closer fight, honestly. Like I guess I can. We can talk about the co-main a little bit here,
right? Yeah, I mean, if we're going to talk about close fights, let's talk about the co-main event between Valentina Shevchenko and Tyler Santos. That is as close as humanly possible, especially when it comes to a championship fight. And I feel bad for all the the Santoses out there and all the ones with the TS abbreviation going into championship fights, because another Thiago Santos, also lost in split decision in fashion against John Jones. And that was also questionable. So I kind of feel bad for them, because both of them arguably could be the champion at this point. What was your take on this fight? Who do you think should have gotten their hand raised?
I'm gonna have to go with Valentina. I mean, it is controversial, but at the same time, I feel like obviously she did. Well, no, I guess not obviously, but she did more damage. And a lot of those takedowns that Santos did, I mean, she did get Valentina down. Sometimes Valentina was tripping. Sometimes she fell on her own. So it's hard to give Santos those counts as takedowns, or those takedowns, count those takedowns. There was a head clash, obviously, and that's a little more obvious. And I think ultimately that's kind of what impaired Santos and ultimately kept her from winning this fight. I got Valentina live after round 3 and after round 4, and I put 5 units total on them. But the only reason why I felt so confident was because of how compromised Santos's face and eye were. I was thinking, ultimately they might even stop the fight, because there was that moments where her eye was almost completely shut. But yeah, I'll right here, tell you, I was not expecting this performance from Santos, considering the people who she has fought. Like, holy shit,
right.
Like, this is leaps and bounds above, what I expected out of her. And ultimately, it just delivered an amazing fight. I don't think Valentina was as prepared for that type of, push. And it was incredible to watch as a fan.
Yeah, it was a great fight. Santos exceeded my expectations immensely. I thought she was going to get run over by Valentina, because, to be honest, I really wasn't too high in her coming into this fight. She had some good wins and some impressive performances, but it's not against the elite of competition on 125. And you're making such a massive leap from Joanne Wood to Valentina. I thought it was going to be such a huge mismatch, but Santos showed that she deserved to be there. She deserves to potentially fight her again very, very soon. I mean, she was able to defend majority of the takedown attempts, which is unheard of, because Shevchenko takes down pretty much anybody at will. And, if she was hanging in there on the feet with her too, landing some, heavy shots her way. And like you said, unfortunately, the clash of heads was, the deciding factors, what had her wilt towards the end of the fight. And that's never looking good, especially in a championship fight, on the judge's mind. And I feel, first 2 would have to go to Santos. I feel like the 3rd round could have been a flip for me. It could have went one way, could have went the other. But I'm not saying this is a bad decision. The 49-46, then we could talk about a bad decision there.
Yeah.
I feel like 48-47 could go either way, but 49-46, get the fuck out of here, because that is some bullshit. Plain simple.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting. I hate to kind of derail from the card, but I feel like we're getting to the point where some of these scorecards, man, like, I feel like a lot of these judges are going to have to start to be a little bit more accountable. If there's something that's completely different than the other two, like completely different, then I feel like that they should have to kind of like explain their answer, like a old school, like top SAT test or some shit. But because there's just so many weird like scorecards these days, or lately in specific. I don't know why I'm getting tongue tied. I guess I'm just getting too emotional over this heated discussion of scorecards. But yeah, like that was really odd. There was a couple other weird ones on this card. There's been a couple of the last card as well. I mean, I'm all for it when it swings in my favor, but at the same time, I just want it to be, normal, throughout. So
yeah, I know. I get you. And when it comes to 5-round fights, it's going to get as wacky could be. So we'll see what happens moving forward in terms of judging, because we know they're going and gearing towards more violence and damage over control.
Yeah.
But if control triumphs any type of damage, normally you would think it would go to the control, but maybe 5 punches, on the feet could overcome, like 4 minutes of control if you're just laying on there and just kind of holding your opponent down. So that's why we're kind of in limbo as to know what are they gonna, judge and what they're not gonna judge. But
which, I mean, honestly, too, it kind of makes it a little bit more exciting. But like, that was another thing, especially with this card. Like, there was some really, really biased commentary, or like commentary that was like unjust. So a lot of the lines, especially the live lines, are responding to the commentary team, it seems like. So it was another way that I was able to kind of like, know what to bet on, because I mean, Jocelyn Edwards, however you say it, she was almost a plus 300 going into the third round. And why wouldn't you take a stab at that? Like, that's insane, because she was not being controlled. She was kicking. I mean, every opportunity she had. While it wasn't the most amazing fight, the announce team was arguing that she was losing. But
yeah, I know that was odd too. I'm like, this doesn't make sense.
And that was fine. I mean, it gave me an opportunity to lay some some money going the other way, and
Right.
Ultimately it paid off.
Yeah. All right. Moving on into the featured bout on the main card was a great fight between Zhang Weili and Joanna Jacek. Your Jacek has now retired after that stunning spinning back fist knockout by Zhang. Man, what did you take of that one, man?
So I got to show off my 2014 JJ Future Shock. This is like her first card ever printed. When I first started collecting cards, again, like, this was one of the main cards that I wanted, just because I save Rousey for the next guy. JJ, this is the queen, man. Like, and there, it's number 12 out of 100. I hate to see her go. Like, it's just, I can think of not a bit, like, there's no better woman shit talker than her. And ultimately, she used to back it up, but I mean, and I know she probably doesn't want to be a gatekeeper, but I mean, I would still love to see her fight, but obviously she wants to, live her life and, have babies and, have a family. And I think that that's fantastic. She's quitting at the right time. And hopefully she can, get in some commentary teams or something like that, because I do think that she has a big enough following, not only here, but like everywhere, to, kind of make that a reality. Weili looked like, a minus 1,000. She looked insane. Obviously, I was wrong about that. I thought maybe, she was going to come in and look a little, war battle, or not necessarily battle ready, but look like she had been through a few wars. But she put it together, man. And it was cool to see this fight open up like the main three cards, or main three fights, because then we got like this badass performance of the night, and then the retiring of JJ. Then we got another badass fight right after, and then another badass fight. So this was like the amazing appetizer, and I enjoyed, again, every second of it.
Yeah, I'm really upset that Joanna's gone, man. She's a pioneer of the sport. She was on top for the longest time, and it just sucks to see her go. And I feel like it's so early. I don't know. To me, I feel like, I know she's been around for so long. We've been watching her for so long, but I feel like she's got so much left. But then again, like you said, she wants to move on with her life, have children. She's got businesses outside of fighting. So she's doing very, very well for herself. So I don't blame her, just calling it a career, especially if you're not fighting for a title again. If you know in your heart that you're not going to fight again for a title, why fight? Then just call it. And I'm glad that she did at the right time. And then now Zhang's on top of the world, because man, oh man, is she going to be a nightmare matchup for Carla Esparza. Holy shit. Is that going to be a hard fight? Like, insanely hard fight. And then Zhang, on the other hand, that was easily the best opponent that she could get. Like, it's great that Rose lost, because now she gets to go against Carla and get her title back.
Yeah, and I'm already, hearing that Carla's kind of ducking her. I'm just like, dude, it's only a matter of time. You
I
can
know
only duck for so long.
the inevitable is right around the corner. Like
Yeah,
the boogeyman is coming. The boogie
exactly.
woman is coming. Put that way.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I love Carla too, but I mean, why? Like, you're in this business to fight the best. You have the belt. Obviously, the best wants the belt. So just fight her, get it over with, and then move
Right.
on. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. So I don't know. I think another thing to kind of consider is also JJ took this as her last fight. So
Yeah.
she realized, this, if I don't win this, then it's done. If I do win this, final go. So I don't know. Props to her, man. That's a really legit way to go, like out on her shield. So
Right.
I mean, just
Yeah.
adds more to the mythos of JJ.
Absolutely. And the two fights to start the main card ended in nasty knockouts, nasty TKO wins. The first one that started the main card was Jack Della Maddalena with his liver punch to Ramazan Amir. That was impressive.
Yeah.
That was very impressive. He showed himself there. He showed, that he's a legit competitor at 170 pounds.
It's hard not to like the kid. His nose is going the complete wrong direction. The only thing, and I said this when I was watching it on Twitter, this fight felt like slow motion to me. They both looked extremely slow. I mean, obviously Jack doesn't want to like expend, his entire, like, he doesn't want to get tired himself out. But damn, both looked not necessarily sloppy, but just like very, very slow. And Amiv, he had these like huge red marks all over his body before the fight came out. Maybe he was like doing some heat press or something. So I'm guessing that he might have been injured coming into this fight, and then basically he was just putting targets on his body for Jack to punch. And I mean, that's what happened. I was impressed that he got out of that hold though. That was crazy. Just turned, got out, and that was all she wrote, Daddy.
Bro, everybody was going in wondering, was Amiv the value side here because of the massive experience edge, the massive grappling edge? Well, I guess not, because Jack came in there, showed that he can grapple, and showed that he could beat anybody on the feet and absolutely tear you apart from limb to limb. That dude's striking is legit. If you can't take him down, good luck.
Well, yeah. I mean, I liked that he was patient, but I still felt like he was extremely slow. He gets another striker.
But that's how he fights, though. He's a counter striker, but he throws such great combinations, especially in the pocket, to the head, to the body. Just does everything technically sound. Doesn't get hit very, very often, or at least very hard. So I really hope he does get a top 15 opponent after this, because I think he deserves it right away.
Yeah, I think I don't disagree with that. I also feel like he could probably do it tomorrow. He left this fight unscathed, so why not?
Yeah, I agree. And then the other knockout was from Jake Matthews, which surprised the hell out of me, against Andre Fiallo. I was not thinking he's going to go in there and beat him in his own game, and was much better at it than he was. Did you?
I thought this was either going to be a sub or a decision. I did not expect it was insane. Matthews looked faster than he's ever looked. He looked more polished than he has ever looked. I mean, I also didn't really think, I thought it was just a matter of time till Fiallo got knocked out, but I didn't think that this was going to be the guy.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, looking back, hindsight is 2020, but damn, those odds, man, like that's
I know,
freaking incredible.
I know, like, Clint McLean, diehard MMA podcast, he hit a crazy second round TKO prop. It was like plus 1,200 or something insane like that. Kudos to him for taking that. I couldn't fathom him getting the knockout and then getting it, and then getting in the second round as well. I mean, that's pretty damn impressive, no matter which way you slice it. And and such a great performance for Matthews. I have high hope for him now, because his only loss in the last 5-6 fights was to Sean Brady.
Yeah,
and Sean Brady, he's on the fast track to the top 5 coming soon. So Matthews really is looking good now, and he really put a stamp out there, and I really want to see who he could fight next because, you know, someone in the top 15 is, I think, you know, a Jack Della, Maddalena, and Jake Matthews fight. I could be down for it.
I'd watch it, but at the same time, it's like two solid prospects, two young guys.
But the thing is, like, Jake Matthews isn't even a prospect anymore. This man's been in the UFC for like 10 plus fights at this point. He ain't even a prospect.
True.
He's still young. He's like 27 years old.
He's 27, yeah.
Yeah, he's been in the UFC forever. So
I mean, it would be a cool like co-main or even a main on a fight night.
Yeah, that would be a banger of a fight. Or even like a featured bout on a pay-per-view like this. You know, that would be a great fight. But yeah, as far as the rest of this card goes, you know, we had some good performances from Mahashati. Is that how you say it? I don't get it. I don't know. Machete. Yeah. Machete came in there, starched Steve Garcia, like you were saying. I told you he was hungry. I knew the kid was hungry. You know, also this is kind of cool because now we can fade him moving forward. But styles make fights, man, and Garcia thinks he has this chin. I'm not totally sold on Machete, but I mean I was on Saturday, boys. Oh yeah, that was a good one. At least I tailed you on that. I liked it. I got plus 150. And he pulled through another great knockout. Silvana Gomez Juarez. She absolutely starched Liang Na like it was nobody's business. But the thing is, she did this in her previous fight against Vanessa Demopoulos, and then she jumped into her guard. So I was like, oh, maybe she'll do the same thing. No, not here. She finished her, and it was pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, I was honestly really surprised. We were on the sub. And, you know, a lot of people were subbed or were on the sub. The one fight we weren't subbed, but I owe an apology to Jacob Malkoon. Jacob Malkoon came in there, looked like a fucking beast, man. He handled Brendan Allen in no way did I ever imagine that happening the way that he did. But, you know, at the end of the day, he does what he does. You know, his cardio looked fantastic, I will say, but he just held Brendan Allen down for most of the fight. I mean, there were some attempts, but there wasn't a lot of damage, and ultimately because of which Brendan Allen got the nod. You know, obviously that's a little bit greasier than I would have wanted, but at the same time, Malkoon gonna Malkoon.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, he's like I said, he's just a position over damage, position over submission. The dude just wants to hold you down, and unfortunately, that's not going to win your fights anymore. You can't just hold down your opponents. You need to throw some shots, soften them up, move around, go for sub attempts, do something other than laying on them. And it cost him, even though he did look good in that fight.
Yeah. And then another guy that looked good was Josh Kulabayo, who also I owe a apology to. Dude looked incredible. In no way should that fight have been a split decision. You know, I told Garrett off the air that I placed another bet on Choi. I think it was plus 280 live. I just assumed that he would get it together, you know, and he didn't. He never woke up. He never fought at range. He was always back up and always getting hit. His chin was up in the air for most of the fight, and every time that it was available, it was getting punched. So, yeah, Josh Caballo, or however the hell you say his name, he earned that fight and he earned that win. And yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome to watch. It just sucked that I was on the other end of it.
Yeah, I know. Kalabov put in a great performance there. I didn't expect it, obviously, because I had Choi. I expected Choi to be more technical on the feet, be able to lead the dance, use his jab, keep his range, and just snipe away at distance. But unfortunately, he was not being able to do that. He was getting pressed, and he was getting hit a ton. Every second, he was getting hit. And
he never mixed in any wrestling either. There was like zero attempt at anything else other than like 1, 2, and Josh, like it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like, and ultimately those begin to add up, and then Choi got scared for the most part.
Yeah, so he was just stuck, you know. He was just stuck there and just getting hit, and it's unfortunate because it could be that his career's on the line now that I think he's lost 2 straight now. So we'll see how it's there. But all in all, great event. UFC 275 delivered more than I expected. So I'm very happy about that. Up this weekend is UFC Fight Night Austin. Great fight card there. Josh Emmett and Calvin Cater. And we will be back next week to recap that show with you guys. But that said, we need you guys to go and like and subscribe to the Vegas Odds YouTube channel. And we will see you guys next week.